embracing my INTJ-ness.
I'm like 88% introverted.
Am I a snob? I like this. I'm doing this little experiment thing. I feel so cool. I miss school. Hello. Welcome back. This is another installment of me trying to figure out what makes me happy. So this is all about testing advice from the Myers-Briggs website. My personality type is the INTJ, which is also known as the architect. Some of the key takeaways are: I shine brightest when I'm pursuing my interests. I really want to get to know people on like a deeper level, and like that makes the relationship just like so much more fulfilling to me. And then I found an article on that like Myers-Briggs website. The perfect things that each personality type should do to feel like relaxed and calm. That article gave 3 activities that would like make me feel calm and fulfilled and happy. And those activities are: listen to classical music, sit quietly with a loved one, and read a book specifically about a historical event. So taking all of these things that I learned from about my personality type, here's what I'm gonna do. For the next 5 days, I'm going to listen to classical music, I'm going to read a book about a historical event, and I am going to pursue my interests. Those are the 3 things that I'm going to do every single day for the next 5 days. And then as far as like gaining more insight about others, like, and getting to know people on a deeper level, as far as that goes, I made Matt, my husband, I made him take this test last night, and we talked about the results. I'm gonna insert the clip of us discussing that right now.
Like, what's something you feel like you wish I understood about you better?
I like to have conversation, and I think that's just something that like I'm always open to more of, but not just like superficial conversation. Like I like strategize how to like change the world. I don't know, just like deep things.
Do you think that's that personality? Like, do you think the test got that right?
Like over the past year, I feel like I've started to become a little bit more introverted. Previously, I was an ENFP, and I'm INFP. So all the NFP things that are very tied to like deep thought and like creativity and just like that kind of personality, they carry over, like they're the same. But now
Do you know what those things stand for, the NFP?
I know the P is perceiving, and is like,
I think that one's intuition.
I think F might be feeling.
F is feeling.
Yeah.
And I think that relates to like how you make decisions. So like you make decisions based on how you feel about it rather than like analyzing.
I think some people analyze things a lot, which is
kind of like where I am. Like I used to be more of a feeling decision maker, but I think in the past like year or 2 I've like come to like really analyze things before like deciding on something.
See, and for me, I don't think I could ever be that, just because like I would take too long to analyze it and then nothing would ever happen. Like usually when I make a decision, it works out. So I feel like the feeling part works well for me, and like the intuition or whatever. Like ENFP versus INFP, like the introvert versus extrovert thing. Like I feel like they've always been kind of balanced.
Like when you took it, did it show the percentage of like introvert, extrovert?
Yeah, it was like 38% extrovert and then the rest was introvert. I think that's kind of fluctuated like between the two, like over the years. It just kind of depends.
Yeah.
But like I know also, so like yeah, I like to go be in like crowded places. I think just for like the stimulation of like seeing lots of stuff, and just like it's just enjoyable for me. But also like I hate calling people like on the phone. Like I'll do it if I need to get something done, but then again, it also asks like, do I like working in groups? And I do. I like working on like a team to like accomplish a project.
Yeah, I think it's just interesting to see like percentages of like those different things, because like I am like 88% introverted. So like I'm like very far on the introverts side of things, whereas like you're kind of like closer to the middle.
70-ish.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun. You feel like we know each other better now?
I know you so well now. Before I was like, wait, who is this lady again? But now I know you're my wife.
So that was my discussion with Matt, and like on a scale of 1 to 10, as far as happiness goes, did that make me happy? Yes, I would rate that at like an 8.5. I just like really enjoyed like getting to know Matt better, and like really talking about like why we think the way we do, why we act the way we do, and like it was really interesting, and I had a really good time talking to him about these things. So I listened to music while I was cleaning up after dinner last night, and I also listened to some classical music while I took George for a walk this morning. I am surprised how much like I like this. So far on a scale of 1 to 10, does it make me like 10 happy? No, but I would like say it's like a 6.5. Like solid, like definitely is like up, like on the upper half of the happiness scale. I'm pleasantly surprised. I did some editing yesterday and last night, and also today during my lunch break, because that is my like right now that is like my number one like interest, is just creating YouTube videos. According to this, pursuing my interests is what makes me shine the brightest. I did that feeling good, that's up there too. I would say that's like an 8.5. And I have not done any reading yet. I did pick out a book to read. I'll be starting that tonight. I'm going to be reading Les Mis. So I'll check in with you again tomorrow to let you know how I'm feeling about reading and how that is contributing to my happiness. But so far, I would say that the suggestions that I got from the Myers-Briggs personality stuff, it works, and I'm feeling pretty happy. So far so good. All right, it's Wednesday, and I started reading last night. I'm only a few pages in, but I like it, and I'm wondering like why I didn't like it in high school. Thinking back, I think I may have overreacted. I may have been a little bit melodramatic about reading this book. So I've been thinking about like the recommendation of like reading a historical book, right? I'm enjoying this partly because I think like there's something within me that's like, ooh, this is a classic. Like, look at me, I'm reading classic literature. And I feel, and like with the listening to classical music and all that, I'm starting to wonder, am I a snob? The satisfaction I get from reading classic literature. The reason I thought of this is because just a few weeks ago, I finished reading Sense and Sensibility for the first time. I think one of the reasons I like reading Jane Austen so much is that I can say, ooh, look at me, I read Jane Austen, not Twilight. I read books with more substance. I'm like, am I a snob? I don't know. But that's just something I've been thinking about. Hello, it is Thursday, which means it is day 4 out of 5 of this little experiment of mine. And I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like this week has been a little bit difficult, puppy training wise. George has just been really anxious and needy this week, and so it's frustrated me. And so has this little happiness thing like made that better? I don't know. I don't know. In the moment, like when I'm like reading, or if I'm like listening to the classical music, or when I'm editing, when I'm doing one of those 3 things, I feel pretty good. I'm kind of like, oh man, look at me. I'm doing this little experiment thing. I feel so cool. And so like in the moment, it's like really great. But like, is that helping me be happy in general, overall? I don't know. But just something I've been thinking about. George says
I'm a piranha. Then Amazon.
But yeah, that's just something I've been thinking about this afternoon. One day more after today of like doing these little activities. And I'll let you know how that last day goes. See you tomorrow. Let's recap this little experiment. There were 3 things that I did every day. I listened to classical music, I pursued my interest, aka worked on creating YouTube videos, and 3, I read a historical book. How do I feel about doing these things for 5 days? Did these things really make me happy? Let's chat. The listening to classical music and the book, reading both of those, I like. Feel like it's not like lasting happiness. It's more like in the moment as I'm doing it, I like it. None of these things are just gonna change me and make me like super happy all the time. I know that. But I think incorporating these things into my everyday life just means that I'm incorporating little moments of happiness. And like the more little happy moments there are in a day, you know, it adds up. And doing those things has helped me realize that like maybe there are things that I thought before that I didn't like that I should give another chance. Like classical music. Like in the past, I've never had like a bad experience with classical music. It's just I feel like I've heard so many people say, oh man, it's boring. It's like, ooh, I hate it. But like that started to rub off on me. So I just like never listened to it. But with this little experiment, I realized I actually do like classical music. So I should listen to it more. And like I mentioned, I had a similar experience with the reading. I was expecting not to like it, but like reading it now, I actually kind of enjoy it. So I think I just want to read more classics, maybe explore some more classics. And yeah, the editing, I think that was really great. I do want to continue doing that every day. Some other realizations I had this last week relating to happiness and my personality and how all of that kind of goes together. Number 1, I had a lot of fun like talking with Matt about like our personalities, having deeper conversations with Matt. Later in the week, he took the Enneagram test, so then we also talked about that personality assessment. I just enjoy talking about like deeper stuff, you know, and so that was a lot of fun. I really just enjoy just like chilling. I like having people around, particularly I like having Matt around and just like being around Matt, but like being the introvert that I am, sometimes I just like want to sit quietly together. He can be doing whatever he wants to sit quietly with a loved one, but like sometimes I just want to have somebody to sit next to. I like noticed those moments more this last week. Just thinking about myself and my personality type and being an introvert and all that stuff. I enjoy learning new things, especially when it comes to learning new stories and about people. I realized this watching YouTube, as I do, and I was watching the channel is called Messed Up Origins. It talks about like the origins of a bunch of like folk tales, fairy tales, mythology, just like dives into like all of these different stories. I really enjoy it, and as I was watching it, I was like, I just really like learning about like stories and people. I just want to learn about these things and discuss these things. I miss that about I miss school. I loved my college experience and like what I studied. I studied humanities, which is like all about culture and telling stories. Just like miss talking to people about stories and learning about new stories and hearing different interpretations. I miss that. That is one of the things that I remember reading about the INTJ, is just that they love learning and they love discussing what they're learning and all that stuff. And that's just something that I was reminded of this week as I was like embracing my INTJ-ness in hopes of being happy. That is one of the big realizations I had this week. I need more of that in my life. Am I happier? Did this like change my life? I don't know. That's all I have to say. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like me and you want to like follow me along as I test out all of these little things to see what makes me happy, then you should click the subscribe button down below. And thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me. Bye.